So, what do you think of when you hear high fashion? And what about artificial intelligence? You probably don't put them in the same category, right? Well, it turns out this unlikely pair is on the verge of solving one of the biggest environmental problems we have, our mountains and mountains of old clothes.
Here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll dig into the massive scale of fashion's waste problem. Then, we'll explore the circular solution that promises to fix it. We'll see how AI is the secret sauce making this all happen, even getting resale down to a single click. And finally, we'll look at the challenges and what the future holds.
All right, let's dive right in with the problem itself. And believe me, the true cost of our throwaway fashion culture is pretty staggering.
Okay, just take a second and let that number sink in. 92 million tons. That's how much textile waste we generate across the globe every single year. It's a number so big it's kind of hard to even wrap your head around it. And it's the direct result of a system we've been stuck with for way too long. For decades, the industry has been running on this very simple but incredibly wasteful linear model. You take virgin materials from the planet, you make a ton of clothing to keep prices down, and then you market it all to encourage us to see it as disposable. And the result of that? 3 out of every 5 garments made today will end up in a landfill or an incinerator.
And this chart, wow, it really shows just how broken that system is. A staggering 85% of our used clothes are either buried or burnt. And see that tiny, tiny sliver? That's the less than 1% that actually gets recycled back into new clothes. The key takeaway here is we're treating our clothes like they're trash, not the valuable resources they actually are.
Okay, so that's the bad news. But what if we could change all that? This brings us to the circular solution, a totally new way of thinking about the life of our clothes.
At its heart, circular fashion is all about one thing: ending waste. It's a system that's designed to keep products and materials in circulation for as long as humanly possible, and then, only at the very end of their life, return them safely back to nature.
And this whole idea is built on 3 main principles. First, you design waste out from the very beginning, making clothes that are durable and easy to take apart. Second, you do everything you can to keep products in use, reselling, renting, repairing. And third, you pick materials that actually help regenerate our natural systems, not pollute them.
So the idea is brilliant, right? But how do you actually make it work on a global scale? That's the big question. And the answer, maybe surprisingly, is artificial intelligence. It's the engine that can make this whole circular vision possible.
Let me put it this way. Without AI, the circular economy is a great concept that's just incredibly difficult to implement. But with AI, it becomes a practical, scalable reality that can transform every single step of a garment's life. Let's look at how. So in the design phase, AI can predict which materials will be both durable and have a low carbon footprint. For the supply chain, it can forecast demand with incredible accuracy, which stops that massive overproduction problem that creates so much waste. And at the end of a garment's life, you have AI-powered robots that can literally see the difference between cotton, polyester, and those tricky blended fabrics, sorting them with a speed and precision humans just can't match.
But maybe the most exciting part of all of this is the one we can all get involved in: resale. This is where AI is turning your closet from, a clothing graveyard into a valuable asset.
For years, the big problem with resale has been trust. As Lauren Kennedy, the CEO of the resale marketplace High End, points out, authentication has always been the biggest source of friction. Sure, a human expert can verify a $1,000 handbag, but that model just doesn't work for the vast majority of clothes we'd want to resell.
And this is where AI has created a total revolution. Just look at the difference. The old way meant you had to be a photographer, a copywriter, a market analyst, and an authenticator. The new one-click way, powered by AI, does it all for you. It pulls the professional photos, writes the description from your purchase history, sets the perfect price based on real-time data, and most importantly, proves it's real.
This is done through something called visual authentication. You just take a few photos on your phone, and the AI analyzes every little detail, the stitching, the logo, the hardware, and compares it against a massive database of authentic items. It can spot microscopic fakes and verify an item in just seconds.
This makes it incredibly easy for brands to bring resale into their own system, creating what they call a circular loyalty loop. You buy something new, and when you're done with it, the brand's AI shows you its current value. You resell it with one click for brand credit, and then you use that credit to buy your next piece from them. It keeps both you and the clothing locked into their ecosystem.
Now, this all sounds pretty incredible, but the transition isn't going to happen overnight. Let's talk about the road ahead and the challenges for making this vision a reality for the whole industry.
There are some major hurdles. Building these AI systems is expensive, and there's a real lack of standardized data across the industry. Scaling these solutions from a small pilot to an industrial level is a huge challenge. And then you have the human element. We'll need to reskill the workforce for these new jobs and navigate really complex questions around data privacy and how these algorithms work.
But the potential is immense. This shift asks us to completely reframe our relationship with what we own. So I'll leave you with this thought. What if your closet was no longer a graveyard for clothes you don't wear, but a dynamic, liquid asset, constantly in flow? Thanks to AI, that future isn't just possible, it's already being built.